How to fit a false ceiling onto a wooden structure. This is a quick and easy task, and a false ceiling allows you to conceal pipes, wires or insulation. You will need suspension units, tracks, connectors, corner pieces, screws, gypsum plasterboard with tapered edges, cotton bandage, and plasterboard filler. You will need a tape measure, a pencil, a laser level, a chalk line, a mason's ruler, a spirit level, a nylon marking line, a plastering trowel, a cordless drill, a screwdriver bit adapter, a craft knife, a plasterboard lifter, and a hacksaw. If you want to put insulation above the ceiling, you should wear protective gloves, goggles, and a mask. Depending on the height from floor to ceiling, you have a choice of different suspension unit lengths: 90, 180, 240 mm or more. In one corner of the room, mark the height of the new ceiling on the wall. Allow for the thickness of the plasterboard fitting into the track. Put the laser level in the middle of the room and point the beam directly at the level of the track mark. Mark all the walls of the room at the intended height using the chalk line. Fix a suspension unit in each corner of the room, at least 10 cm from the wall. These will be guides, marking the height of all the other units. Place the suspension bar against the joist. Ensure the top is aligned with the mark on the wall, then screw in place. Join the suspension units in the four corners together with the marking line. The gap between two tracks should not exceed 60 cm. The boards should be joined together outside the tracks. If the room is not perfectly square, the last board should not be less than 50 cm wide. Screw the suspension units in a row, one by one, along the length of the joist, 60 cm apart, a maximum of 120 cm between joists. Use the nylon marking line to align them. Clip the tracks onto the suspension units. Don't be afraid to push hard up against the tracks until you hear the click as they interlock in place. The tracks may be easily cut with a hacksaw. To join together, use the connecting clips. As you put the tracks in place, use a long mason's ruler to ensure that adjacent tracks are level. This is the ideal time to put thermal or acoustic insulation into the gap above the false ceiling. Maneuvering the ceiling boards exactly into position is easy with the plasterboard lifter on casters. You should leave a 5 mm gap between the wall and the first row of plasterboard. Once they are in position, screw them firmly in place. Position the plasterboard at right angles to the tracks and join two boards together outside the tracks. Screw each board in place every 30 cm along the track. To cut a board to fit, place it on the ground and use a mason's ruler. Cut along the mark with a craft knife. Place the board on its edge and pull the two sides together so that it snaps in half. Then, cut through the cardboard face with your knife. Use plaster to cover the joints between the tapered edges. Wet both sides of a strip of cotton bandage. put in place and smooth down to make it stick. Then, wait at least 12 hours before putting another layer of plaster on top using a large plastering trowel. You should also reinforce the edge of the board with cotton bandage covered in plaster. Once the false ceiling is complete, you can paint it.